response to this Russian allegation that it's the US and its allies that are being the aggressors here, putting thousands of troops on hold and using words to describe an attack at any time and imminent. My understanding also is that the Ukraine, thinks that is causing panic and would like the US to sort of tone down its language, given it's having economic impacts in the Ukraine.
Well, I'll start my answer with where your question left off. You noted the fact that we are making prudent preparations. We are making our concerns known through public statements, through written statements. We are putting additional service members at a heightened state of readiness. All of those are either precautionary measures we are taking to communicate the concern we have, or measures that we are preparing to put in place should we need to go down the path of defense and deterrence. Now, on the other side, you see from the Russian Federation the amassing of 100,000 troops, 100,000 plus troops on the border with Ukraine, a country that, of course, poses no threat to the Russian Federation. You see tens of thousands of Russian troops flooding into what should be a sovereign, independent country, that is Belarus, in position that would allow Russia to move swiftly from multiple directions into Ukraine, should it so choose. You have seen Russia engage in hybrid tactics, both in recent weeks, but also since 2014. You have heard of and seen the aggressive disinformation, propaganda efforts emanating from Moscow. You have heard of various individuals in Moscow making statements to the effect of Moscow may be forced to move aggressively against Ukraine. So I think if you weigh those two things, you will see that one is not like the other. What we are doing together with our allies and partners is pursuing prudently the course of defense and deterrence should Moscow move forward with its aggression. What we are doing is about defense. It is about deterrence. In the first instance, what we are doing is to do everything we can to forestall additional Russian aggression against Ukraine. That's the deterrence part. The defense part is putting those prudent preparations in place so that if Moscow does move forward with its aggression, we are prepared, and our Ukrainian partners will be prepared with what they need to defend themselves. That is why we have provided the defensive security assistance that we have to Ukraine. That is why we have spoken of additional commitments to the NATO alliance, the 8,500 U.S. service members that are in a heightened state of readiness. That is why you have heard us for weeks now consult and coordinate with allies and partners to ensure that we have in place a set of measures that would go into effect swiftly and have enormous implications for the Russian Federation in the event of Russian aggression. So to equate or to put on the same plane what we are seeing from Moscow and what we are seeing from the United States and Kyiv and Berlin and Paris and Brussels and across Europe, that is precisely what the propaganda, what the disinformation, what the misinformation emanating from Moscow would like for us to believe. But you take an honest examination of the defensive steps we're doing, what we are doing to prevent conflict, the fact that we are sincerely and steadfastly pursuing the path of dialogue and diplomacy, just as we are engaging this in defense and deterrence. And I think you see that these two things are not on an equal plane.
But do you think that the use, or do you concede that the use of words like imminent, above and beyond everything that you've just described, may not be helpful and may cause panic and seems to be causing panic in Ukraine in particular?
I do not think us voicing our concerns regarding what Moscow may well have in store is bringing us any closer to conflict. The only thing that is bringing us closer to conflict are the moves and the measures that we have seen from the Russian Federation. What you have heard from us in terms of voicing our concern is nothing more than prudent precautions that in this instance we are enacting out of concern for the safety, security, and the well-being of our colleagues and their families on the ground in Kyiv and throughout Ukraine.